So in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about how to run a company, a multi-million dollar company after you have acquired it, especially if you don't have any experience of running that company in that industry. How do you do it? How do you actually do it? And how do most investment companies do that? So if you don't know who I am, and if you're new to this channel, my name is Prithvi and I'm the founder of a healthcare investment company which is based in UAE. And the goal of this company is to acquire other companies, other multi-million dollar companies, to create a unified group. And in the last few years, I have spoken to hundreds and hundreds of companies in healthcare sector. I have met the owners of these companies. I have spent very intimate time discussing about operations with the owners of these companies, and I have also interviewed hundreds of healthcare experts. And currently I'm in a business partnership with two healthcare experts who both have 30 years of experience each in operations, and they both have been group CEOs of very major healthcare companies. And I've also managed to structure a partnership with a $3.5 billion CEO and a lawyer who advised on a $13 billion bank merger. He's one of the top lawyers in UAE in business and corporate law. And I've also have several other business partners. One of them was a CFO of a $400 million companies. So I have managed to bring these people together, and I've analyzed several companies financially, legally, and operationally in the last few years. And I've discussed how to structure the deals and look at the companies from various angles. So I'm going to be talking about how to run these companies once you've acquired it. So one of the things to understand is that these companies, you're not creating anything from scratch. You're buying a company that is already been running. So if you are someone who have an aspiration to buy a multi-million dollar business, first thing to notice is that that company, even though you have not acquired it yet, already exists and already is running successfully. So first thing to understand it is that you're buying a business that has been running since last 10 to 15 years without your assistance. It already has a management team in place. It already has an owner. It already has a general manager. And the bigger the company gets, the more stable the company gets, because you have more employees supporting it and you have more customers supporting it. So the bigger the company, the lower the risk. And the company that you want to acquire already exists and already running successfully. So that's one thing to understand. The second thing to understand is that you're acquiring a company that's already profitable. And we, in our model, we only acquire multi-million dollar businesses that have at least 20 to 40% profit margins. So you have enough cash flow to deal with any challenges that come in the company. So you want to make sure that the margin is 20 to 40%. And the third thing that you want to make sure is that you're buying at the right price. Even if the margin is big, but you overpaid for the company, and now you have a lot of debt and the cash flows to debt service coverage is very thin, then you have very little cash flow left for you to actually deal with operational challenges. So you want to make sure that you're paying right price, you want to pay a discounted price, and you want big margins. And this is only possible in so many industries. And also, operations are linked with overall industry risk. So you want to make sure you choose an industry that is stable, because sometimes things just go wrong, not to your fault or the company's fault, but the overall landscape of the whole industry changed, and there is a collapse, right? So you want to make sure that you choose an industry which is stable. And the other thing that you want to make sure, and all of these things can be done, these measures can be taken before you actually buy a company. And then you are stacking things in your favor before actually any deal has taken place. You've stacked all the variables in your favor, and you can avoid a whole bunch of problems, and you can run the company successfully. So you want to make sure, the last point is, you want to make sure you structure the deal right. So the most important person in a company is the owner. He has been running the company. He knows the ins and outs of the company. The employees give him the authority over the work that they do, and he's the one who has been most likely paying the salaries. And in some cases, I came across a company that had an owner who had delegated his authority to one general manager, and in that case, that general manager had the power. So you got to identify before, again, this is when you're sitting down with your experts and you're analyzing the company, you got to identify who is the key man, who is the person who is the most important in this business. It could be one person, it could be a few people. And what you want to do, because these people have been running the company successfully and have been performing and growing the company successfully, you want to make sure you retain them. If you retain them, you have avoided 90% of the problems. Why? Because they have been running the company last 15 years, and if you just retain them, they will continue, and you provide an incentive in the future, and a very attractive incentive, financial incentive, because people work for you for money. Then you make sure revenue continuity. Okay, so all of this is done in the deal structure. So what you want to do is, because you don't have any experience running the company, the first order of business is that we create a team, a very experienced team of advisors before you buy any company. So that's number one. We choose an industry which is has low risk and has very big margins. Number two. Number three, we want to buy business at the right price. Number four, we want to structure the deal the right way around the key men of the business, and we want to retain the key men of the business. So if you take care of all those variables, then you are in a very strong position to run the company successfully. And if you bring the right advisors, for example, right now I have two healthcare CEOs, both of them have 30 years of experience each. I've got 60 years of experience on my team in healthcare. Now, I don't have experience in healthcare operations, but I have overcompensated for my lack of experience by bringing these two high-profile CEOs on the team. They have run companies that I want to acquire, and they are helping me. Whenever I identify a company, they help me understand the business even before the company is acquired. So you have 2 to 3 healthcare experts. If you have a plan in going into healthcare, if you have a plan going into real estate, you would have a real estate expert. If you want to have a plan of going into construction, you will have a construction expert, right? So I have healthcare expertise on my team. Now you have the company that you're acquiring. You have the owner that you will be leveraging the experience of, because it's not that you acquire the company and owner runs away from the company. That's not the scenario that you want. We will make sure that we don't give 100% of the price that we agreed for the business. We pay maybe half or maybe 60%. The remaining 40% we will hold back, because we want to make sure that the owner helps us understand the business, run the business, and make sure the business stays intact, because he's the one in power. And even after he transfers the licenses, he will still be the one who has the leverage over employees. So that authority from the owner has to shift to from the old owner to the new owner. And the skills that the owner has, the controls of the business the owner has, or the general manager, or whoever is the key man, you got to make sure that that is transferred successfully. And that's a succession plan. And you will create this plan through your advisors. You want 60 to 90 years of experience on your team through multiple people who have done what you want to do. And even if you have a lot of experience on your team, it's not necessary that the company you're acquiring, every company is different, and every company will need a very unique treatment. Every company has a different culture. So you want to make sure the owner of the business, the CEO or the manager, whoever is the key man of the business, is on your side. And all of this is done through legal agreements, through deal structures, through clever deal structures where you provide stock options to the CEO or whoever is the important employee. You provide, if you're doing a big exit, you provide incentive for the owner in that big exit. You want to make sure your intention and the owner's intentions are aligned. You don't ever want to be in a conflicting position with the owner of the company or the CEO of the company, because they can take the whole business down. So you want to make sure that you have all these things in place, and then every single company have been running without you. Remember that. And what you want to make sure is that you acquire companies that are financially sound, because people work for money. And if you have money, then you can hire people who know how to run the company, who know how to manage these companies and compensate them well and take care of the operations. But the main thing to understand is the companies have already been running. You have 60 to 90 years of experience. You are retaining the owner and the CEO and the key management people, and they're going to run the company forward with you. And all of this you make sure to have, you make sure by having their financial incentive in the company, continued financial incentive, they are taken care of, and you make sure you have proper deal structure in place that you will structure with your lawyers, your accountants, and your financial and your operational professionals, that you have all the risks mitigated in the deal structure, and you make sure you hold back some cash to make sure everything is correct. And that's the way that you run the company. The best person to advise you will be your healthcare experts and the owner of the business. In a lot of the cases, what I have seen, and a lot of young people, I know a lot of young people who acquired multi-million-dollar businesses and they ran the companies successfully. And one of the reasons why they were able to do it is because they had the healthcare experts and they managed to retain the owner who continued to work in the business for some time. It could be a year, it could be 2 years, where the owner continues to be involved in the company. Why would they continue to be involved in the company? Because you have provided them with an incentive to do so. So I'm not going to get into the details of those incentives. It can get very complex, but this is just to have an understanding of the principles of running the business. The business is already running. It has an owner. It has a management team in place. You got to make sure you buy it at the right price. You hold back some cash. You structure the deal right. You analyze the risk. And one of the most important things that you can do before you buy a business is to perform due diligence. Before you acquire a business, you will perform financial, legal, and operational due diligence. Due diligence is simply an investigation on the business, whether the numbers are correct, the employees are legitimate, the customers are legitimate, and the services are legitimate. So if you do all of these things, you would have eliminated most of the risk, and then you can structure a deal where the current management team is retained of the business and they continue to run the business like they have been. And then you can see with your experts what operational improvements are possible. And you can start acquiring more companies and see what are the different synergies between these companies. And you can make that company better. You can introduce marketing systems, marketing strategies, and increase sales, etc., and remove employees who are non-performing and create efficiency. And all of this is done not just by your operational expert, your financial expert, your legal expert, because a business is not just operational, it also has legal aspects, financial aspects, and accounting aspects. So that's the video on how to run a company when you don't have an experience or expertise. You hire people that have the experience and expertise. You need experience and expertise. It doesn't have to be yours. You need money to buy these businesses, but it doesn't have to be yours. So if you are someone who wants to learn how to acquire multi-million dollar companies with little or no money of your own using banks' money, then there are several steps that you need to do before that. And I have a mentorship program where I take you from the beginning, how to choose an industry, how to find your right experts and advisors, all starting with little or no money. And then how do you find your accounting and law firms who will do the due diligence? How do you identify the right banks who will provide you with the financing? How do you structure deals? How do you find businesses, multi-million dollar businesses who are already profitable, already running? And how do you acquire your first $1 million business? So if you're someone who's interested in learning that starting with little or no money, I have a one-on-one mentorship program where I teach you how to do this from scratch. So if you want to be mentored by me, reach out to me. I'm going to leave my links to my social media profiles as well as my email. Email me and referring to this video, we will set up a free consultation call. You will not have to pay anything for this one free consultation call. On this call, we will explore what market you are in, what industry you want to go to. We'll develop a plan. And if you like the plan, we will move forward. And if there is no synergy, then that's fine. So if that's you, if you want to reach out, the mentorship program itself is paid, but the consulting, the free consultation call, the one call will be absolutely free. If that's you, if you want to be mentored by me, reach out to me, message me on any of the social media platforms or email me, and I'll talk to you soon.